is one of those days because this past week marked the 355th mass shooting this year in America. And to make it worse, what happened in San Bernardino in the afternoon was not the first mass shooting that day. Savannah, Georgia had one earlier in the morning. What in the world is a person to say after such events? Some are saying stricter gun laws, and I wish I could hop on there. But there's so many guns out there already. If we stop manufacturing and selling guns, I really don't know if it would make much difference. And some are saying if just everyone concealed and carried, well, 355 mass shootings, I don't think anyone concealing and carrying has stopped one of them yet. Some are lifting up the idea that it's only Muslims that are terrorists, and then look at all the shootings that are third and fourth and fifth generations Americans that are perpetrating the shootings. And so I wish I could come up with some simple solution, and yet it seems like such a complex and multifaceted problem that it is beyond my comprehension alone, or solutions that I can come up with. So what I bring to you today is a bit of scripture and a poem. Today's scripture, you heard it, there was a man named John, and John was a hairpin curve prophet. He was encouraging people to turn their lives around, to prepare their hearts for God's Son. He came to prepare the world for a new way. He called people to make those hairpin turns in their own lives. Tried to catch people before they tumbled off the cliff. And I guess what it comes down to today for me is I cannot make choices for others. I can only make choices for myself. And I can choose, or try to choose with God's help, not to give in to hatred, not to bow down to fear, not to hang on to resentment and grudges. In a world filled with darkness, we are the ones who follow, we claim at least, follow the one who is light. This past week, I read a news article, and it saddened me. A couple of third grade girls asked a couple of other third grade girls, "What are you doing later?" And they said, "We're going to play with chemicals." Well, that maybe wasn't the best thing to say for third grade girls, but they're third grade girls. The day went on. By the time the bus ride was in progress on the way home, one of the third grade girls who had asked the question initially went up and told the bus driver, "Those two girls have chemicals in their backpack." The bus stopped, police arrived, 3 hours of questioning on the word of third grade girls, of these other third grade girls who had nothing but books in their backpack. But 3 hours of questioning before mom and dad were even allowed to be part of the questioning. I find myself thinking, Lord, help me from going over the edge. Help our nation so that we don't go over the edge. Help us turn around a bit so that not everything scares us terribly. You and I, we're part of the choir. Even if we're not singers, we're part of the choir. And we find ourselves humming at the very least this time of year. Joy to the world, the Lord has come, let earth receive her King. We are called to sing joy, not cynicism. We are called to sing with the angels, not to chant with the likes of King Herod and his first century posse on the heels of baby Jesus and Mary and Joseph. One hairpin practice we can involve ourselves in is what I call Facebook boundary. To refuse to post anything that adds to the darkness or detracts from the light or reveals anger or hatred. We can choose to post the things that are light or not post. And that's not always easy to do, especially if we have a bad day and some posted, "Yeah, I believe that," but does it add to hope and health and healing, or does it add to hurting? And if it adds to hurting, maybe just don't post it. We need hairpin prayers. We need hairpin practices. It's not enough to say, Jesus, you love me and I love you, and that's enough and all is good. Another hairpin curve practice is to lean in. We know that going around curves. Lean in. Try to make it easier for God to protect our hearts and our souls and our minds. Lean into the promises. Believe a bit that God can do miracles. So let me share a hairpin curve poem for you. It is a leaning in poem from a retired pastor, from Dwayne Gebhardt. And it was written not this last week, but actually the week before. And I share it with you. In the darkness of the night, I awoke from a dream of fear, where the world had slipped into thin air. My feet felt the floor in the light of the moon. I saw stars in the sky through trees standing firm, and I knew actually God was all around. And I could trust my soul to sleep again. In the dark shadows of life on the edge, a person is taken down by a bullet, fired out of fear or hatred or lack of thought, but community gathers its arms around and lets the grieving know someone cares, and we learn again that love overpowers hate and hope is renewed with each beat of the heart. As the dark forces of evil rise out of chaos in the world to blast communities and shatter lives and crush the light, people run from homes and lives they have known to search in the dark for a place to be safe. Love finds them through people who are willing to carry a candle with outstretched arms and a blanket and bread that is filling. Can we do any less when the shadows abound? Rather than stare at the abyss, to stand firm on the ground and offer a hand of love and say joy to the world. The child is born, who brings hope and peace and calm in the storm, who shatters the darkness with light from above. We are called to lean into the embrace of the one who comforts, to lean in with the promise of the season, to lean in and pray for one another, that we can keep the faith, and that we can share the light, and that we can remain strong when we feel broken or when the world looks broken. We are called to lean in. You know the thing that they say. Lean in, look where you want to go, not where you don't want to go. So don't look where the evil wants to